If you were to say, tell me the characteristics of a perfect drug to treat COVID, what would you ask for? So I think you would ask for something, firstly, that's safe, that's cheap, that's readily available, and that has antiviral and anti-inflammatory properties. People would say, that's ridiculous. There could not possibly be a drug that has all of those characteristics. That's just unreasonable. But we do. The drug is called ivermectin.
It was such a benign medication, and it has such a great safety margin, and it's so inexpensive that if you didn't have COVID, you still felt better the next day.
Here's this treatment that around the world they're using. We started reading articles about Peru, Argentina, Singapore had done a study in the summertime, and they were seeing pretty impressive results. And what's interesting about it, when you look at the medication, this is a medication that has only been prescribed 3.7 billion times. And I think the mortality rate from the medication was only 12. And that's incredible. And on top of that, it won the Nobel Prize. So how can you go wrong?
One of the things that's been very unfortunate about this pandemic is that at a time where we need, if anything, out of the box thinking and forward thinking and openness, we've really settled into this way of thinking where we want to wait for large trials to just tell us what to do.
There are several studies that have come from across the globe, over 100, that cover all primary research and the meta-analyses. And the majority of them point to the fact that ivermectin has efficacy in shortening the duration of disease, shortening the time that there are symptoms, and in reducing mortality.
When you see repeated different investigators in different countries who have nothing to do with one another reproducing a similar result, you cannot ignore it.
I think that patients' best interest should always be put first. And if we have a safe drug that we have huge amounts of experience using, we should be offering that to patients right away.
Number one, we take care of friends, family, people who go to church with us. We don't want to hurt them, okay? And the safety of ivermectin and the fact that I've been using it for 20-some years in practice gives me confidence that I can use it safely.
With ivermectin and a few other things we do in our protocols, we're managing to probably have a survival rate in hypoxic patients of over 95%.
If you saw that in your practice, I mean, you would be convinced. When you're reading a paper and it says, 33 patients, it's easy to blow off, brush off, like, come on, this is nothing. I mean, what kind of study is that?
None of the university and big institutional doctors are allowed to use ivermectin. They've been told not to listen to patient complaints, not to read literature, not to prescribe ivermectin. That they have all put blinders on.
And I'm saying, holy cow, I got 260 people, okay, and I just give them this pill. And 99.9% of them have not required anything other than the protocol.
We've received patients from as far away as 100 miles away from our office because their experience, unfortunately, has been a refusal adamantly on the part of their primary care doctor to prescribe ivermectin, and or a approach where they've been told if they get sick just to go home, and if they get sicker to go to the ER.
The hospitals, I feel, have an obligation to be transparent and to tell patients, to tell every patient that there is this drug that's being used off-label.
There shouldn't be any criticism because something that was unexpected worked. That's kind of the hallmark of science.
When I asked them why do you not use ivermectin with your COVID patients, the answer is, well, there is no evidence. When I showed them the evidence, they changed their mind.
Take a look at the election returns on ivermectin from all over the world. Yeah. India, Peru, Mexico, Bulgaria, Slovakia, all these places. And ask yourself, what are the odds that this could have happened by chance?
Unfortunately, when there's research that comes overseas, I think Western medicine sort of looks down upon them as if their standards are not up to speed, as if they're not doing randomized control trials as well as we do it here in the United States, which is hogwash, because some of the most incredible physicians and the brilliant scientific minds have been from Latin America and Asia and Africa. I definitely do think, unfortunately, there is this bias towards data that's coming from overseas.
We came into medicine, we're trained, we know and understand pathophysiology, and the people that are telling us not to use this drug they concern me. And they frankly concern the direction of medicine and the direction this country is going in.
Governments and health organizations are ignoring the evidence, and there's a mountain of it. And I think this is because they are heavily invested in novel treatments.
Corporate medicine makes it very difficult for people to do anything different than the party line. What's the party line? What are we doing today? Or what are we doing this month?
Where a lot of the resistance to ivermectin is because there are a lot of people that don't want COVID to go away. They're making far too much money out of it.
Big Pharma, I think they want to promote mostly what they have with the motivation and mostly with the financial incentive they have with creating their new drugs.
And one of the horrible things about this, this whole pandemic is just shutting off people, and canceling them. People who are talking about things that work, just booting them off of Facebook and booting them off of Twitter.
I'm on my 26th day of censorship on Facebook for violating community standards. Who are these people to be telling frontline doctors how to practice medicine?
We need to look at the totality of evidence. We need to look at all the evidence. We need to interrogate all the evidence and have a multidisciplinary team, not just a few celebrity scientists, coming together to make a conclusion about all types of medicine.
It's important to maintain scientific rigor and not be cowboys and just run off doing everything experimentally, but at the same time, not sitting back and sort of condemning ourselves to inertia where we can't do anything until a large, extremely well-powered and designed clinical trial just tells us what to do, while our patients are dying day after day after day, and they need our help. They need us to be doctors. They need us to meet this moment.
Why would we not use it? The worst possible outcome is we're going to have a country of parasite-free people.
The saddest thing for us is we know this can make a difference and save lives, and it seems like nobody really cares and wants to listen to us. That's what frustrates us, is that we have this massive force out there that's trying to silence us, and yet we feel we can't be silenced. We just can't be, because the truth will ultimately prevail.